Hello, hello. Thank you for being here with me today. And if you're here at the time of premiere, well then thank you for being here with us. We appreciate you being here. I'm using these colors in this acrylic pour today. I'm going to be using mostly white with little dabs of these colors in between very thick layers of white. Well, somewhat thick. Thicker than the other colors anyway. Alright, so I've got a rose gold, a bronze, a tannish color, coral, and gold. I just selected colors that I already had on hand within a color theme that I had in my mind that I wanted to use. So that's why I chose those colors. That was my magic white cat. I wanted to show my magic white cat because I'm on an angel theme today versus the magic black cat that we tend to think about this time of the year. I did not use this aqua color in this painting, however I happen to have it on hand and I wanted to show you that this is the consistency to which I mixed those other colors of paint. It's not super thick, it's not super thin, so my layers will show up individually to a point with slight intermixing involved. This is what I want in my outcome, and this is why I mixed my paint to that consistency. So again, my layers of white are far thicker than the layers of the colors. I'm using very small dabs of those colors and thicker amounts of that white because I want the overall theme of what I'm going to pour to have a really soft, ethereal, angelic type of look. And I have a specific reason for wanting to show you this within the wonderful story that I'm going to tell you. Alright, but before I get there, I want to give a really great shout out and a thank you to Lena of PAC Art. She introduced me, so thank you, Lena, for that wonderful introduction. And if you have not seen her presentation yet, I invite you to check in the description below, as well as all of the artists' presentation who are participating in this wonderful crossover art collaboration. There are not only going to be so many inspiring and beautiful art presentations, but lots of really fun stories as well. Make sure that you get your fill of all the beautiful art presentations as well as the really great stories. Now you can see I've layered this cup. I did not layer it as carefully as I might layer a real solid ring pour cup where I really want those rings to be distinct with a hard edge, but I also would have mixed my paint more thickly in terms of the consistency if I was going for that result. But like I said, I wanted a little bit of a softer effect, but not super soft. I do want some distinction between my colors, okay? So this is why I chose the consistency that I did. And there, of course, I am putting down a little bit of a flow extender, especially around the outer edges, so that when I pour my puddle of my beautiful colors on there and start to stretch them out, they're going to flow very nice and fluidly. So before we continue, I want to give a big shout out to Donna of the channel It's Art by Donna. She's the host of this collaboration, and she puts so much into her collaborations, and she also typically hosts a lot of artists when she puts together a collaboration. I have been collaborating with Donna for quite some time now, and I can tell you that our little group of artists started out from like 6 or 7, and then they became like 11 or 12, and then they were in the 20s, and I believe that this collaboration has at least 36 artists in it. Maybe there's more. I don't know. I probably should have counted that before I started talking about it, but there is a lot of artists in this at this point, and it's wonderful. And this collaboration is taking place over 4 different days, so again, that information is in the description below. So you can see that I am doing a traveling ring pour here. This is going to give me some flows and lines in a movement pattern that I'm conceptualizing in my mind. I have a very specific type of outcome that I want to create for this piece. I'm not going to reveal just yet what I'm going to do, but I will invite you to stick around until the end because I'm going to do something that might just be a little surprising to you, and I'm pretty sure you'll get a kick out of seeing that, so be sure to stick around until the end. But before that, really check out how I create this pour, because this pour in and of itself turns out to be really lovely. So the story that I want to share about for this collaboration is a little bit different than what we typically do when we think about Halloween and this time of the year. A lot of times we like to think about spooky themes and ghosts and goblins and skeletons and spooky stories and I was going to come at my presentation from that angle, and I certainly did share some spooky stories in my last year's presentation, and I was intending to share some more spooky stories that I actually really have experienced, just like the stories that I shared in the last presentation were actually experienced for real, not making that up there. But in the creation of this painting, which I'll tell you the inspiration for this painting in a moment, but this reminded me of a really special Halloween that I had, and it was one where I dressed up as one of the good guys and not like a ghoul or a ghost or something like that. And so I thought I would share this really sweet story of something I experienced in this Halloween, and it still touches my heart deeply when I think about it. But before I go there, let me just explain that my partner and I know this really wonderful woman. She's extremely intuitive, and she does a lot of really wonderful things with what her talents and abilities are. And she likes to bring light to the world, awareness to people that is helpful. She likes to bring things to people that would help them, uplift them. This art piece is actually for her. And in the beginnings of the creation of it, I remembered this really special Halloween. And it's because of that that I chose to actually show a part of what I created for this painting, for this really sweet woman. And to center my story of my Halloween adventure of that year, I think I was 9 or 10 years old at the time, actually. And what that story was for me. So let's get going with that. But first, just take a look at the outlay of this puddle on my canvas. It's really quite a lovely ring pour. I did have to layer a second cup because I felt I wasn't quite sure I had enough paint on the canvas, and I wanted to be able to move it around easily and to also be able to move with the flows of the paint and adjust the layout as I might see fit. You know, if you don't have enough paint on there, you may not have some of those options. All right, so we will begin the tilting process. Okay, so let's get on to my lovely Halloween. Like I said, I believe I was maybe 9 or 10, and I don't remember what the prize was, but at my school there was this announcement, and I'm not even really sure how much advance notice we were given. I mean, we might have even been told the night before. I don't even recall. But we were told that there would be this competition for everyone who dressed up in costumes, and the winner would get this prize. Again, I just don't remember what the prize was. So obviously it was the whole situation that led to me trying to get the prize. That's actually what is really special to me, and not the prize. But anyway, I don't think I even had a costume, and I think I was maybe thinking about being a ghost or something. And my stepdad, he took this white sheet that we happened to have in the linen closet, and he got it out, and I remember at first I was just going to be a ghost, and he was going to help drape it over my head, and he cut out the eyes for me so that I could see out of it. And somehow or another, we ended up deciding to take this sheet and make it into an angel costume, and I can't remember how we came to that. So just remember I was like 9 or 10, so I just don't recall all the details. But he started with the scissors just cutting all these different little shapes. Like he started opening up the neck so that my head could go through it, but he didn't make a big gaping hole so that it would sit really big and unattractively around my neckline. He actually made kind of a small hole, and then he made a slit down the front a little bit, so then it would have these little lapels that would kind of fold over. And then he cut this little shape for my arms, and he made these little flaps that kind of made a sleeve that came over my shoulders. This was way before cell phones even existed at all, and people didn't take photos of every little thing because, you know, it was kind of costly with film and developing and everything, and it was like, really, people took pictures at really special occasions. I was able to sew pretty well, especially by hand at that age. And I remember looking through the sewing kit that my mom had and was hoping for white thread, but there wasn't any. The lightest color that was there was a light yellow. I was a little disappointed at first, thinking I really wanted my angel costume to be solid white, but I chose the yellow since it was the lightest one. And I started just turning over the edges of the raw fabric where my stepdad had cut, and I started sewing the edge over so that it wouldn't fray apart as I was wearing it. And it actually ended up really cute with the yellow thread. It actually looked really, really nice, and it gave it a little bit of a contrast. And he made these wings for me somehow. Like, we made these wings out of cardboard and aluminum foil that we pressed over it. And I don't remember what we made for the straps. I don't recall if there was ribbon around the house or if we took strips of the sheet, but we fashioned these little straps that I could put my arms through so they'd kind of be over my shoulders with these aluminum foil cardboard wings behind my back. That part was a little bit hokey. I kind of had this grand vision of feathery wings, and I was wishing I had feathery wings. Again, that was even before like the Victoria's Secret's beautiful wings. I mean, I'd never seen any wings like what I was envisioning, but I had this grand idea, probably based on old-fashioned paintings. But anyway, so I had these aluminum wings, and they were a little bit hokey, but the rest of the costume was really nice. And I believe that I probably broke into some of my mom's makeup and put makeup on. But I looked really cute. It was really pretty, and I was really proud of it. I didn't win the prize, but obviously I just didn't really care that much about that part. Maybe if I would have won, maybe I would have remembered what it was. But I just have this dear memory that my stepdad would do that for me because it just meant so much to me to have a costume. And anyway, it was just so sweet and touching to me that he would go through all of this and do all of this for me to help me have a costume. And so it is a really sweet memory that I still have. And so you can see here I'm showing the results of the pour. This is a beautiful pour, and I really did think about leaving it as just a poured painting and not doing what I had originally set forth to do on top of it, because I really liked how this came out. I really did think about this for a few days before I continued, and I even contemplated pouring another background for what I wanted to do. But I did decide to use this in the end because I did think that some of the flows coming out from what I was going to do on top would be really pretty. And that is the part that was inspired by this woman to create this beautiful painting. And so I'll be showing that. I am showing these close-ups kind of slowly because when I view other artists' close-ups on their pours, I really like it when they go slow. I can see the footage really well. It goes into focus more clearly when it is panned more slowly, and I can see the details because, I mean, let's face it, that's why we're showing it close-up, is for those beautiful details. And it can really actually hurt the eyes when it's moving really fast and the camera can't focus. Alright, so here we go. I really love this. It reminds me of that time I dressed up like an angel. I wanted to put the white owl. It represents wisdom, but I also like it for a little bit of a Halloween vibe. Okay, so this really represents not a spooky story, like I said, but just a really wonderful Halloween experience I had as a young girl when a really sweet stepdad really did a really sweet thing and helped me make a costume out of a sheet that he really masterminded, because at that time I had no idea how to accomplish a costume like that in terms of cutting out the right parts to make it a shape that would actually work. So kudos to him, because he did not have a fashion background. Let me know what you think about this, and Nina of Nina Art Life is up next. So check her out at the link provided below, and I'll see you back at my channel again soon.